Hello, hello. How is everyone doing? Hi, Ola. How you doing? Haley. Good morning, Val. Yes, BL. New animations. I was a little bit worried that it wasn't switching. Like it works now. Just trying out different things. Things look a little bit more fancy. Um, Ola, probably not soon. Not so soon. Hey Nick, how you doing? Maybe in a yeah, not within the year. I think not within this year. Best next year, maybe in a couple of years. It does look like it's going to be a slow day, a bit of a retracement day, I think. Usual, 2 minutes before we get started. Meantime, drop a message, say hi, let me know you're here. Hey Spiros, how you doing? Hey Anne, doing very well, doing very well. How's your weekend? How's everyone's weekend been? Had a bit of a crazy non-farm payrolls, but hey, put it into the chat. Let me know. What do you think of the non-farm payroll session? Did you like it? Do more of that. Hey Lainey, how you doing? Hey Carsten, morning, how you doing? Sure thing, Lee. Hey Diana. Lillian, weekend was good. A bit too long because we did have a bit of a holiday. It was election day on Friday. So it was a bit of a holiday on Friday. Just threw me out of whack, I felt like. And we did two sessions on Wednesday on Friday as well. So the holiday, but I did two sessions and then I had a weekend. By Saturday I was looking forward to Monday already. A bit odd. I'm one of the few odd people that look forward to Mondays. Hey the Phantom, how you doing? Alrighty, so again, welcome everyone to this daily market analysis. It is the 4th of September. Brand new week, brand new month as well. So I hope you guys had a good weekend after the non-farm payrolls last Friday last week. Good to have you all with me. If you are new to this session, drop a message, say hi, let us know where you're joining us from. To all the regulars, a big welcome back. Thank you for jumping onto this call, setting aside a time on your busy schedule to jump on this call together with me. All right. During this daily market analysis, what I do is look at the fundamentals. We will talk briefly about the non-farm payrolls, why we saw the crazy moves. We look at technicals in terms of where price is, where price could head towards, and then look for some possible trade setup. Just bear in mind that today the US and Canada is on a Labor Day holiday, so it is a long weekend for the people in the US and in Canada. So we might be looking at a little bit of a quiet market for today. Give us a bit of a time to breathe. So remember to breathe. And also, if you haven't already, do help me out. Click that like and subscribe button on YouTube, TradingView, Trading.live, and the link is there again for, I think most of you have already. But if you haven't, the link is there for the Discord channel. Do make sure you jump in to the Discord channel. Okay, I am sniffing a little bit, so just bear with me. Hey Matic, good morning. How you doing? Carson says I'm a workaholic. Well, you know, when all I do is trade, well, not all I do. When one of the main things I do is trade, then it's looking at, well, then I need the markets to be open. That's why I look forward to Mondays. Unless I do crypto, but I don't do crypto too much. That's why the weekends are a bit of a one day to switch off. So when it becomes a long weekend, it just becomes a bit too long for me. All right. So with all that said, if you do have any questions, please feel free put it into the chat. I am noticing slightly that noticing that it seems to be lagging a little bit. So if you do put it into the chat, might be lagging a little bit. Just bear with me on that. Okay. Quick disclaimer, any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. So please do your own due diligence because the contents of this webinar is not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product. Your objectives, financial situation, and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. Leverage, risk, and psychology is one of the most important things you need to pay attention to. Don't jump into all the trades that we talk about because you will be over leveraged. Manage your risk, not because we talk about a particular setup, you go extra size on it. In fact, a lot of times I do tend to size down, especially if we're talking about during the news. Right? I do tend to size down on my trades during a volatile event. Flip side, a lot of people think volatile events, size it up, make a quick buck, a quick big buck. I look at volatile events as an opportunity to size down but see bigger move. All right. All in all, I spoke to one of our members earlier today about trading psychology. Do make sure that there are many ways to approach or to adjust your trading psychology. So if you do want to have a one-to-one session with me, a 30-minute one-to-one session with me, then jump into the Discord channel. There is a link there for you guys to book a one-to-one session. Thank you so much, Da Phantom. Da Phantom just sent me 100 coins on TradingView. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I will say, let me see how to say that. Second. Thanks, dude. That. Alrighty. Thank you so much. And do I trade US indices? I don't. Like you guys know, whenever you ask me about US indices, I look at it. I give a very quick, brief view. I don't look at I don't trade US indices particular for the index. What I do is I really just buy and hold. So I don't do a short-term trade. How I plan my just a snapshot of what I do is my FX. When I trade my FX, or when I trade FX, I can't say my FX. It becomes a bit touchy now. When I trade FX, that's a short-term move, short-term cash flow. Then I put it into stocks and indices and equities for medium-term flow. Then after that, for all that, I push it into properties for the long-term capital appreciation and cash flow and yield. Right, so that's how I plan out my trajectory in terms of finances. Just sharing with you guys in case might be something that you do similar too. So you just said you yen pairs moving up now. Okay, we'll have a look at that quickly, shortly. Carson said, I understand, and I'm sure you have a few plans in that. Yeah, too many plans. All right. So with the disclaimer said, yen just shot up. What happened? No particular reason why it was up. Okay, so we'll have a look at that shortly. Euro rebounded slightly. Yeah, Euro rebounded a lot over the. Okay, let's look at it first. Get back to it. On Friday, we had the non-farm payrolls or non-farm employment change number being released. It was a little bit surprising. Was 187, got revised down to 157. Expected 169, came out at 187. At the same number, a bit higher than forecasted and a bit higher than previous, but we saw unemployment rate drop or increase. Unemployment increase with unemployment rate going from a 3.5 to a 3.8%, while average hourly earnings went from a 0.4, expected only a 0.3, went to a 0.2. So wage inflation dropping, unemployment rate increasing, while non-farm employment change increased slightly. So I think someone was saying, I think it was Lee actually, who was saying, what happens on Friday during the session? What happens if we see a mixed news here? We actually saw very volatile events on Friday during the non-farm employment change number being released. It went from 103, almost 103.70 down to that 61.8 level, 103.20, before pushing back up all the way towards that 104, almost 104.30 level. Right now, retracing back down slightly. Hey Sarah, how are you doing? Just take that away. Right, so it broke out of that. Take that box away as well. 61.8 is done. We can take that away. Well, okay, there we go. Clean up the charts a little bit. Okay, and that was what we were looking at during the non-farm payrolls. I can take that away as well. Okay, so that was the non-farm payroll, which we saw that drop before a big push back up. So why we said, big drop down, right? Break support of 103.45, we dropped to 103.15. Pretty much came very close, 103.26, before bouncing back. It was not a terrible number on the NFP, so that's why we did not see 102.80. Right? It was not a terrible number. It was only it was 187, which was a bit better than forecasted and better than previous, even if it was revised to 157. Why we saw the dollar push back up, I think it's also because we see that number, right? Average hourly earnings, the wage inflation slowing down from 0.4 to 0.2%. That's why we saw this push back up. Another reason, it was the end of the week, right? What we saw was a big move during the week. So this was a bit of a failed to break that 61.8 level. That 61.8 level there, it hit and it bounced and got back up. It grabbed that liquidity below and pushed back up again. Okay, so that's why we saw that push. So right now, what do we have? Any questions, put into chat, let me know. All right, right now, what do we have? Not a lot of news, right? Not a lot of news that could move prices too much. As we were saying earlier, that the US is on a bank holiday for Labor Day, while the Canadians are also on a bank holiday for Labor Day. So it's going to be a little bit quiet, especially with this with the US on holiday. Volatility might be choppy with liquidity a little bit lower. Main thing today, I don't think you'll be rushing into a lot of trades today, but it will give us a chance to set up for more trades, because tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. GMT +8, we do have the Aussie with their interest rate decision, the RBA cash rate decision, 4.1%, expected to hold at 4.1%, right? Expected to stay at 4.1%. I don't think we're going to see the RBA hike rates in this time round. If they hold it at 4.1%, the focus will shift towards the rate statement, right? It will shift towards the rate statement. You need to read, or rather, I'll read it. I'll translate it for you guys. The rate statement, I'll show you last month's one. Right, on the 1st of August, they left cash rates at 4.1. So they held it at 4.1 the last month as well. Right? Well, because inflation in Australia is declining, although it's still too high, they're giving it time for it to slowly come back down towards that 2 to 3% target range by late 2025. Conditions, the labor markets remain tight. They have eased a little, and then returning inflation to target in the time frame remains their priority, while further tightening may be required to ensure that inflation returns to the target in a reasonable time frame. It will be dependent on data and assessment of risk, right? So because of this, nothing much has changed so far for the Aussies. I think that they're likely to stay at that 4.1%, which could drive the Aussie dollar up slightly, but it depends on what the dollar index is going to be. Historically, we've always seen the Aussie dollar drop following a RBA decision. Okay, so with that, then what else we have tomorrow? Not much else tomorrow. Some PMI numbers, some services PMI numbers. Aussie on Wednesday. We do have the Bank of Canada with their rate decision Wednesday. Put it into the chat. Should we do a live session on Wednesday at 10 p.m. GMT +8? Would you like to do a live session during that time? Put it into the chat. Let me know. Thursday, not much else. Through to Friday employment numbers. Okay. So it looks like after that little surprise from the NFP last week, we have the Aussie interest rate decision and the Bank of Canada interest rate decision for this week. Apart from that, we should see relatively straightforward trading conditions, right? It's never relatively straightforward, but it's a good thought process, right? Everyone else, put it into the chat. I see a couple of answers there already, but for all of you who are watching, put it into the chat. Let me know, do you think we should do a live session during CAD rate statement? I was going to do one at this time for tomorrow, but I think most of you might asleep at that time. Okay. So with that said, then looking at the charts here now, dollar index today is the 4th of September. Right, we've seen that hit 61.8 and bounce off that away. Now, if I'm considering, now we see the dollar index retracing. Considering this move, could come down to that 23 point. level, right, based on that bottom to that top. And also, if I just did this to double check, is coming towards that 23. So this level is going to be quite interesting. 104, 104 is going to be interesting there. It's coming close. Okay. Just filter this down a bit. Think what could happen. Right. Bell say almost everyone says yes. Hey Ater from Belgium, good to have you with us. So this is the dollar index for today. It looks like it is retracing. Question now is whether it can break this 104 support level, right? If it breaks 104, and why I'm thinking of this is because that's what we're seeing here as well, right? We saw it test this level, big shoot down, diesel top here, and then a big push down as well. Now that it's came close, looks like a double top formation pushing back down. So 104 at 23.6 level, it does break down from this point. We could see it drop lower and could come down towards 103 because we see a confluence at 38.2, also that 50 level, right? There is a bit of a confluence there. I think that it might be a bit too much to expect the dollar index to drop all the way down towards 103.6 because there is no news, retracing from the move overnight. On Friday, I think that does come down to 103.80. It would be reasonable. However, if it fails to break below this point, then we could see it bounce back up. That's that 104.40 resistance. So with that said, just having a quick look at the euro. It is bouncing back up off the strong support level. That didn't think that I would be looking for the dollar index to trade lower price breaks 104 support, which could come. Carson said inverted. Inverted what? What inverted? Support that away. Words 103.8. Wondering whether we get. I'm wondering whether we get to 106. Seems a bit unlikely. I think it's just coming back down to fill this. Too many circles. I think it's coming down to fill this area here, which is also why we see percent. I think that for the dollar index. Dollar index would be a bit weaker, trade lower if price breaks 104 support towards 106. Good morning, OJ Mids. Is that DXY pattern a large head and shoulder, and does it is it a large head and shoulder, and does it size? Okay, I know what you're talking about. This one. Oh, sorry. Shoulder, not a great. This is the head and bit of a shoulder here with that neckline. It's, I would say that it's done already, Austin. I would say that head and shoulder pattern is done, or inverted head and shoulder pattern is done. It's already pushed up towards that point. So good spot on the inverted head and shoulder, but it looks like it might be done already. That setup has happened. I want to check something. Happy, wondering whether to take away this trend line. Would be happy to take away this trend line. Levels, checking my levels again. That. Okay, good. Done with that on dollar index. So I'm looking for it to break past this point, looking for some downside on the index, which would mean that for today, we're possibly looking at the weakness on the dollar. So then it comes down to the dollar to start off, right? We were thinking if we see dollar weakness, we could buy the Kiwi dollar up. What happened was it went right to that 50% level, failed to break above 50 and retrace back down. Let's take that away. Also, you can see that there was trading viewers thinking about giving me a Bollinger Band. Go way outside of Bollinger. Once it closed that hour, the 9 o'clock hour, way outside, it retraced back in all the way. Okay, so that's why we saw that push. Then now with that, also with that double top formation at 0.6, right? Nice round number level, nice pattern at a round number resistance level. Now that it's pushing back down, this is where it becomes a little bit odd because we are looking at the dollar index weakening, but yet we're seeing the dollar push to the downside, right? Within this hour, pushing to the downside. That retracement failed at about the 23.6 level, pushing back down again. What I would, as much as I'm thinking of the dollar weakness, I would say that you could be looking to get in if it breaks past this previous low at 59, below 5940. I would love to see it push back up, test, and then sell down from there. But it looks like it's not like this scenario. So what you could be looking for here, 5930, take profit down to that support, 30 pips, 35 pips, stop loss 25 for that move down. Thinking whether your stop loss can be a bit near 20 pips. I would say 25, but if it goes back up to about 5945, you can look to close out the trade. Okay, so I'm looking at, so be looking to sell this 0.59 930, stop loss 25, take profit 5. Not a not a typical setup. Could work. Looking for this to push down, but yet this is just going against the grain, against what the dollar index is showing right now. I would like to see it push up, but I think there is an opportunity that we could do 5930. If it comes back up about 15 pips, so if you enter there, okay, so I'll give you an example here, is that if it comes down and then you enter at this point here, and then it bounces back up about 15 pips, close out the trade, I would think that it's going to continue back up. But if it comes down here and pushes lower, then good 35, almost 40 pip downside. Okay. Oh, slightly shorter term trade on that one. Very similar with the Aussie. Check some. I'm just looking at that headline where it says Aussie and keep dollar edge higher on hopes downside risk. Boom. So it's like the news and the headlines are telling you, and this is why you need to not just read the headlines and go, okay, I'm going to buy it, right? Because the news and the headlines are telling you something else, the dollar index is telling you something else, but yet the price is showing you something else again. So I would maintain this view for the Kiwi. Aussie came down. This was the news event, so we take that away. Pushing back down. Like this one, remember we do have the RBA rates tomorrow. We have the RBA tomorrow, so just watch that. And if I showed you the 1st of August, right? So this was the news. This was last month's rate. I'll put one before. This was last month's rate decision from the RBA. We saw a brief push up before a continuation to the downside. Also at that resistance level for pushing back down. So we're looking at something quite similar right now because it is coming back to that point, pushing down. So maybe by tomorrow you'll see it halfway through and then we could see it push down. What I would say is that 6440, take profit 60 pips, stop loss a good 30 pips there, 1:2 cents. Wait for it to break past this point, pushing down now. Some of you might be tempted to get in a little bit early. I think that this is a bit of a danger area. We might see it rebound back up. I'm looking at this only breaking down, then I would sell it down. Okay. Mehdi asked for the euro and the dollar index. I just done the dollar index. I will get to the euro shortly. I'm looking at this 6440, stop loss 30, take profits 440, stop loss 30, take profit 60. Is on the RBA. Also with the RBA decision tomorrow. It's really odd that the dollar index is pushing down so strongly, but yet we're two guys pushing lower while yen is up. Right? It does not make sense right now with the price action. Careful. It is pushing back up. It's broken that trend line, so we take that away. This level proved to be very effective, right? We were talking about this. Go back to when Friday afternoon stream where I was saying that it could come to 144.50 before pushing back up. It did not push back up and come back down again. It pushed right back up all the way. Right? Yen is still persisting with its weakness. What to do right here? At 146.36 right now. It is breaking out of a slight consolidation, right? Despite dollar weakness, I think it's pushing up because of the pound dollar and the euro dollar that's pulling the pound yen and the euro yen up. You know, look at the pound yen, we've got a big massive upside. So that's why and the euro yen as well push strongly to the upside. So that's why we're seeing the US yen push up as well. Probably wouldn't do anything now unless it breaks above that 146.50 resistance level. For further upside, what you could be looking at 146.70, stop loss 30, take profit 60 towards that previous swing high. Breakout, break above. So breakout consolidation, a break above resistance, we're going to see a big push towards the upside, very similar to what we saw here. Or here, consolidation, a break above that resistance, a break out of consolidation towards the upside. Okay, so 146.70, stop loss 30, take profits. It's odd. So keep your trades a little bit more managed, a little bit more short term, because right now what we're over the last three, the Kiwi, the Aussie, and the US, we're looking at trading against what we're seeing in terms of price action. So 146.70, stop loss 30, take profit 60. Okay. Why we're seeing the dollar push to the downside, or it looks like it's pushing to the downside, needs to break, is it's in is primarily because of what's happening on the pound dollar and the euro dollar. So here euro will load my lines. Is what's happening on the pound dollar and the euro dollar. It's bouncing off of that low. Okay, so you can see that the pound dollar formed a good low here, and it's found that support, bounced off over the last couple of weeks, bounced off strongly, now bouncing back up again. Take a couple of these things away. Now if it breaks down from here, would be breaking above that 23.6 level. This trend line, checking the validity of the trend line, have it up here. Not perfect, it's not a great trend line. Could work as well. That could work. Then what I'm looking at this. So if it breaks up, the Bollinger, this could actually be quite a soonish kind of trade, like a end of this hour kind of trade. You could be looking for it to close above that 23.6 level. Give it a bit of space, 1.265. Stop loss, tight 30. Take profit towards the top of that resistance or that trend line, about 60, 70 pips to upside. Up. Comes to that point, pips would go, yeah, like that. Okay, this is going to be high on the list. Next 20 minutes, something to watch out for on the pound dollar. It's not really, it's a bit of a counter trend, but I would more be tempted to say that it's in a range, because you can see that since the 3rd of August, it's found this level, bounced back up, and it's remained within the range. It broke down briefly towards the end of August, pushed back up, and then now it's pushing back up again. So I'd say it's more in the trending, in a ranging scenario. So I'm looking, that's why we're looking for it to buy off this support. So 1.26, 530 to buy, 1.23, stop loss 30, take profit. This follows with the what we're seeing on the dollar index, that the dollar, in that terms of the dollar weakness, pushing the, it looks like it's the pound dollar, it looks like the pound and the euro that's gaining some strength, and that's causing the weakness onto the dollar index, rather than the weakness dollar index pushing these prices up, right? And that explains why we're seeing the Aussie pushing slightly lower, traveling in a different direction compared to the pound and euro. Okay, so euro took a loss on during the non-farm. I was trying to force out a trade, not the best thing to do. That again, the top, big push to the downside. We had a good move down, but then it did not push up as we expected. Carson took a long on euro at 1.0742. 0.0742, that price. So check that again, Carsten. 0.0742 is up here, down there. Check that price and let me know. With TP at 108.37, that makes sense. Okay. This coming close. I do see further upside for the euro, but I think that it is right in the middle. Okay, 1.0787. Austin 78. Nice. Take profit 1.08. 1 cents. Guess your stop loss will be low about that point there. Very good trade, very good trade. It is in the money. I do think that it's going to get up there, but so very good trade there, Carsten. Yes, but at this point now, if for those of you who did not get into it, if you want to take If you accept the risk, then you could be looking at 1.0 close of the hour 1.0805. 30 is a 1:1 risk reward to the upside, right? Look for the hour to close. You could get in for 1-to-1 towards that 1.0840 level to the upside. But if you don't want to take that risk, then say that you need to see what happens along this 1.040 resistance level. Looks like euro dollar could climb up to this point. Then if the dollar index continues dropping, or we see the euro dollar continue to push up, then we could see it come back up to a point, or right at this point. Okay, so here you go. This view 1.0805 is a 1:1. For those of you who are willing to take on that risk, that could be a trade there. Then alternatively is to get in as it breaks above that resistance 1.0850, right? Very tight stop loss at 20 pips. The take profit could go all the way to 65 with a bit of a decision point at 1.875. All right, does that make sense? So this is a bit of a higher risk. Bit higher risk upside, but then the alternative is that this take bit longer come around, right? That's what, right? If you're happy to scalp this and to push this, to scalp this to the upside, or enter a trade and hold it to the upside, I think it will work. Then if not, then you could be looking at this move. 1.0850 25. Stop loss 20. Take profit. Okay. Hope I answered your question there, Mehdi, about euro dollar and dollar index. That's happening. That's happening together with pound dollar as well. So these will be the two trades that you can be looking at possibly at 4 o'clock or maybe 4:15. About that. Then onto the Swiss franc, did not happen. Dollar index pushing back down. 23.6, if it breaks down, could come towards support. Again, inverted head and shoulder there. Show you this. Right. Dollar index is, it looks like it wants to go down, but just hesitating a little bit. Might take a little bit longer. Question is whether it's going to break 104. Okay, so breaks down from this point 0.8830. Take profit. It is why I don't really like US risk. not very big profit levels. I would actually prefer if you didn't do anything on the Swiss, let it come back down and then look to buy it back up. Because every time it's found this level, force break, push back up, find the support at 0.88, could push back up again. This might be more attractive. 8810, take profit, 50 pips. Stop loss could be 20, could be 25. One is to 12. But that's going to take a lot longer to happen. All right, so I would say that this is going to be a longer setup by 0.8810, stop loss 20, take profit 50. Yep. And we'll say that weight bounce of support by the all good so far. Makes sense. If it makes sense to you, let me know just so that I know I'm on the right track with giving you the information. And if you haven't already, do help me out. Click that like and subscribe button, please. And also, if you haven't, Discord group is there. Do make sure you join. Then now coming to the US CAD again. Remember, it is a Labor Day weekend. Labor Day for the US and for the Canadians. So this is going to be a bit slower but choppy. I think Diana had a trade that she closed out a bit early there, but the US CAD moved very nicely to the upside towards bouncing off that support at 1.35. Thank you, Val. 1.35, bouncing off that support, push towards that resistance at 1.3585. So that one is done. Take that away. Remember that on Friday we actually saw retracing a bit. Okay, on Friday we actually saw Canadian GDP number come out worse, right? Worse than previous. It went from a 0.3, got revised down to a 0.2, released at a minus 0.2. That's why we saw that weakness in the Canadian dollar pushing up, that dollar strength push Canadian dollar up as well. So now we're looking at this possibly trend line is not valid there. It could work here, but there's no point in having that. Take that away. That one's done as well. Or rather, it's too far away. Take all of that away. And this, right? So this is housekeeping. This charts housekeeping where I kind of filter down on what's valid. Okay, so this was bounced along that 50%. It did break through, but bounced along that 50. Now pushing back up. Could be Euro and Pound are not showing my setups at the moment, so I'm waiting on them, but we'll be watching this. Thank you. So now I'll be looking 1.36 failed at 1 point almost, it failed trying to break 1.36. So 1.3605, 1.3610, 30 pips towards this point of 30 pips. Could go higher, could go towards that resistance level there. Area could do that, could come to that area there. Then you're looking at about a 40 pip move upside, up like that, like that. Also, I'm thinking about this where it's bouncing off, should be bouncing off a level at 23.6. This is a very, very safe. It could be looking at it a bit earlier. 5359, 3536. Look at 310 as well. So a bit earlier, above 36, we are 20 pip, 50 pip. Okay. So we're looking at the dollar strength narrow, perpetual continuation of the CAD weakness, pushing back up. Dollar is bouncing back again. So we could be looking to buy this 1.36, stop loss 20, take profit 50 levels. Okay, that. Checking this, dollar pushing down, yes, happening soon. Aussie dollar happening soon as well. US yen confirming that breakout. Could be looking to buy. Actually, I like the US yen, so I'll be quite keen on that. Pound dollar retracing a bit, but looks like it could bounce. Yes, like that. Might not, might be able to do a bit nearer, but I'll update you guys on how that goes. Back. In fact, because of this, because of the way it's retracing, I'll take that away. I wouldn't recommend that. I would say that if anything happens in the middle here, I'll update you on the Discord channel, but could be looking for that move instead. US Swiss franc could come up to this point before turning all in the middle. I'm not going to touch that. US CAD, I like that potential, but because I would love this on a normal situation, but because it is on holidays, they are on holidays, I'll be a lot more careful with this move, but it does look like this could be an easy one to the upside. All right, any questions? Let me know. Then on to gold. Did break out. So gold on Friday, we were talking about it above 1946 to get to 1955. It broke out of 1946 very late on, or not very late, on Friday, just as the news was happening. Right, a quick push above 1946, went up to 1953 before trading back down again. Still supported along this support level, or this FIP retracement level of 23.6. Okay, so it's still found 23.6, still refused to break past that point. Now the question is, just clearing out these lines just so that I can see a bit more clearer. Are we likely to see a push back down? What we keep looking at everything. Everything keeps looking like a dollar strength apart from the pound and the euro. It looks like this could push back down again. Pretty sure that if you brought up the RSI, it's going to show you that it's pushing down, right? That's why. And also that if you look at this, it's a bit of an imperfect head and shoulder pattern here as well, with that neckline along that 23.6 level. So I think that the short term for gold, look for it to come down towards 1938. If it breaks below 1938, you could see 1930. Okay, so gold, I would say that short term down to 1938, break, neck, hip, and shoulder neckline to reach 1930. That, look at 1930, it also coincides with that 38 point level, sitting right there. 4 o'clock, the new hour is there. Candle seems to be pushing back down a bit. I think that look across, tracing a little bit, tracing US yen. I still like, so I think this too might take a little bit longer. Kiwi and Aussie might take a bit longer. US yen very close to that resistance. Pound dollar and euro dollar are the two things to look out for this afternoon. All right. I think these are the two things to look out for, with one eye on the US yen. You need three eyes. One eye on pound dollar, one on the euro dollar, and then one split focus onto the US yen, especially if it breaks above. Still trying to. I think this pound dollar in particular, right? If you were a bit more keen, you could get in there. Just a couple of pips difference, 10 pips difference. You could get in a little bit earlier, accepting that risk for the upward push. Okay. Any further questions? Any further questions? If you haven't already, do help me out. Like, subscribe, join the group. If you have feedback or comments, put it into the chat. Let me know. If not, then I look forward to chatting more with you on the Discord channel. And a lot of you have set up your one-to-one session with me for later today. So do make sure you had a couple of people not forget about their session and not turn up. So do make sure you jump onto the session that you have booked later. Okay? Trade well, trade safe. I'll see you on Discord. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. Time same. Take care now. Bye.